I hope you guys enjoyed this bite-sized look at some of my most anticipated exotic combos and builds for Heresy. First up, this Hunter exotic combo is one I'm extremely excited about. We've got On the Prowl plus Omnioculus. On the Prowl is the new Void Hunter aspect that marks nearby targets when you go invisible. Defeating those marked targets grants ability energy to your team and also creates a cloud of smoke that weakens nearby enemies. When you or your team pass through that smoke cloud, you become invisible, marking another target, effectively allowing for an infinite loop of invis. Omnioculus has already been used in many great Void Hunter builds, but I think it will be especially good with this new aspect. For each teammate you make invisible, you get half of your melee charge back. Normally on Void, you could only make your teammates invisible with your smoke bomb while using Trapper's Ambush, so you would need to be pretty close to them to make the most of Omni. Now with On the Prowl, you're gonna be able to make them invisible from basically anywhere at any time. And we would still be able to pair it with Trapper's Ambush so that our smoke bomb could make our team invisible if we're in a pinch. Even better, there are some amazing Void artifact mods that will benefit this build. Void Flux applies Volatile when you defeat a weakened target. Maligned Harvest makes it so rapidly applying Volatile causes your next instance of Void weapon damage to create a weakening burst. And lastly, Volatile Marksman causes rapid Void weapon precision hits or final blows to grant volatile rounds. So with all those great mods, we're definitely going to want to run a Void weapon like Choir of One, Graviton Lance, or maybe even that newly buffed Telesto. Telesto is getting a buff that not only seems super fun, but also pretty good. The exotic perk that refills its magazine on multi-kills will now activate from any Void kills, not just Telesto. After 3 activations of Harbinger's Pulse, special reload the weapon to cause a rain of Telesto projectiles on your next direct hit. If this is anything like Old God's Right from the artifact, but better, then that is insanely cool. Next up, we got Vex Caliber plus Unbreakable on Titan. This combo is all about unlimited invincibility. Glaives are getting a slew of buffs in Heresy. Most importantly, the final hit of the melee combo will deal double damage. They're also going to have Unstoppable via the artifact. Vex Caliber is also getting its own specific buffs. Scoring a melee kill while you have a Void Overshield will fill your glaive energy to full. You're also going to be giving your nearby teammates Void Overshield while blocking at a faster rate. Keep in mind that Vex Caliber melees with the Void Overshield active do 20% more damage, and melee kills with that Void Overshield active fully refresh it. Now to talk about Unbreakable, which is also getting a multitude of buffs. There are honestly too many to go over, but the rundown is you're going to have much better defensive capabilities while guarding with Unbreakable. Your grenade uptime is going to be better, and the offensive throw is going to do more damage. So basically with this build, we're going to have Void Overshield up for ourselves and our team almost all the time. Now you could run Syntheseps or Worm God to increase that glaive melee damage, or you could go with Ursa Furiosa to get grenade energy back from blocking with Unbreakable. I think my setup will be on pure Void using Offensive Bulwark, which gives increased grenade charge rate while you have a Void Overshield. And then my exotic would be Worm God for that 200% increased glaive melee damage when at max stacks. All the Void artifact mods that I went over in the Hunter section will also help out this build, so we'll be able to apply Volatile and weaken with our Vex Caliber. Moving on to the Warlock, we have Delicate Tomb plus Geomax Stabilizers on Arc. I've always found this combo fun, and it's going to get even better in Heresy. Delicate Tomb is getting various buffs to its performance. The chance to make an Ionic Trace when killing a minor combatant is going from 4% to 10%. But remember, killing an elite is a 100% chance of creating an Ionic Trace. The damage bonus on the Tempest Cascade shot is getting increased from 30% to 100%. So just pick up an Ionic Trace, and you get a free 2 times damage buff. And don't forget, with Delicate Tomb, hipfire shots deal 20% more damage compared to ADS. On top of these buffs, we're also getting particle reconstruction in the artifact, so the damage will be even better than normal. It's also Unstoppable Fusion in the artifact. That may or may not work on Delicate Tomb, since it's able to apply Jolt with the Tempest Cascade shot, but I guess we'll see. Geomags are getting a pretty sweet buff in Heresy. The super energy from Ionic Traces is getting increased from 2% to 7%. Wow. Furthermore, sprinting while at 6 stacks or more of Bolt Charge will top off that Bolt Charge, and remember, once you've gotten 1 stack of Bolt Charge, weapon damage will grant additional stacks, and you can release it at 10 stacks by dealing ability damage. Finally, Chaos Reach itself is getting a 15% damage buff. So this build alone I think will be really nice, but we've also got some sweet arc artifact mods. Defibrillating Blast makes it so stunning a champion gives max stacks of bolt charge. That one isn't really arc specific, but it'll still be nice to run with this build. Flashover makes you amplified when you gain max stacks of bolt charge, and the lightning bolts just deal more damage. And Dielectric makes it so defeating arc debuff targets grants bolt charge. The Tempest Cascade shot on Delicate Tomb applies jolt, so there's some great synergy there. I think Lightning Surge will be a great second aspect to run with this build, since that's getting a pretty nice damage buff in Heresy, and also is going to give even more access to bolt charge. If you run Spark of Beacons, kills with Delicate Tomb will create blinding explosions while you're amplified, so jolt and blind from one weapon. Spark of Discharge makes it so that arc weapon final blows have a chance to create an ionic trace, so that leans even more into our Geomax stabilizers getting super energy from those ionic traces. If you want to get even crazier with the ionic traces, Spark of Ions makes it so defeating jolted targets creates an ionic trace. I just can't wait to jolt everything with this build in Heresy. Bonus time, bonus time. You've discovered a bonus section of the video. Not necessarily an exotic combo, but I wanted to talk about two superb exotic fusion rifles, Bastion and Merciless. Both of these exotics deal so much damage, and with the addition of particle reconstruction in the artifact, I think they're going to be top picks in things like GM Nightfalls and the Nether activity on the Dreadnought. Bastion does 45% more damage after dealing melee damage. It's basically like Trench Barrel, but you aren't restricted to 3 shots. It also doubles your melee damage if 18 pellets from the burst land on your target, behaving very much like 1-2 punch. Bastion is amazing for bursting down champions, and it has intrinsic unstoppable. In a similar vein to Bastion, Merciless is another amazing exotic fusion. As you deal damage with it, that charge time is going to decrease, letting you shoot super fast. With particle reconstruction refilling some ammo to the magazine, I think this will be a top pick not only for things like champions, but potentially for boss damage too. I forgot to include this weapon in my last video on weapons to get for the day 1 dungeon, but I think it's definitely worth having Merciless ready because it might be very good for some bosses in the dungeon. Also, if you didn't know, Merciless has a hidden kill clip baked into the weapon. Get a kill, reload, and you do 50% more damage for 4.5 seconds. I just wanted to talk about those two exotics. I'm very excited to try them out in Heresy. Okay, we're gonna do this. Boom, boom, boom. And so we're almost done with the thumbnail. Now all I gotta do is add this perk here, open a new tab, drag it to this website, boom, copy that into it. Oh yeah, be sure to always name your stuff too, guys. Very important. Paste that onto there. Boom. We'll bring it down. And now this is what you guys are going to see. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you all have fun in Heresy tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.